Hi everyone, thanks for joining me again. This week we're going to look again at narrative structures, but this week we're going to have a look at how it's essential for all films with a happy ending to end with a happier ending than they started. Okay, and the biblical reasons for that. Okay, so to have a look at this, I've drawn us a curve, so you can see it. You can see it on the screen just here. Now, this curve is a bit different to normal narrative curves. So a normal narrative curve might look at time and tension, so where the most drama is for the reader or the viewer. This is a narrative structure based on time across and on our hope. Going up and down. So it's about where the good bits are and where the bad bits are. Okay, so it's about how the audience then feels positively or negatively about it. Now, to do this, I'm going to take a nice simple story that hopefully we won't do any spoilers for. So I'm going to take The Lion King as my example story for this, and we're going to see how that follows this narrative curve of time and hope. Okay. And from that, I hope you'll be able to see how lots of films, I'm going to say all films with a positive ending, follow this narrative curve, and we're going to see how they reflect our expectations of the world and how the Bible shows us why that is. Okay, taking the Lion King to start with, all films start off with a neutral beginning point. Okay, so it's an introduction to the world of the film. This is just how the world is. Okay, so we've got the Pride Lands filled with grass, and we've got Simba and his family. Okay, following that comes the problem, the turning point in the story, where something goes wrong and the main character has to deal with it. Okay, so in Lion King, Mufasa is murdered, and Simba has to deal with the fallout from that. But we have a neutral beginning point, and then it all tails off and goes wrong. So that's a negative part of the story. Then across the middle part of that story, the middle third of that story, it might go up and down. There might be a bit of hope here or there. There might be a positive bit. There might be a negative bit. But it all remains below. Very importantly, it all remains below that neutral beginning point. So it's still bad. The world is still worse than it was to begin with. In the next part of the story, we go down even further. So we go to the lowest point in the story. So in a normal narrative curve, you'd go up because it's the most exciting point of the story, and that's when the viewers are really gripped. All right. But in terms of hope, this is our lowest point of the story because it looks like everything's going to be lost. So at this point in the story, it's really exciting because Simba goes to fight Scar and to take him on. But in terms of hope, we see pictures of the Pride Lands now being a wasteland. And we get to the point in the story where Scar dangles him off the edge of Pride Rock and is about to kill him. And we feel like everything's going to be lost. Scar's going to win. And then we come to the final point, which is the resolution, the end of the story, when Simba defeats Scar and takes back the Pride Lands for himself. So everything's better now. We have their positive bit, so the curve goes upwards towards the end. We feel happier. This situation is resolved, and most importantly, the Pride Lands is better than it was before at the beginning. And most importantly with the resolution is that not only are we back to the neutral point that we started at, but we're actually beyond that. Everything's now better. So The Lion King is a fairly simple storyline. It follows the same story structure as many other films and stories. But what I want to show you is that the whole world, the whole storyline of the real world follows this structure, and we see that in the Bible. So right at the beginning, we have our neutral start point. So God creates the world and puts Adam and Eve in paradise. But as soon as our story starts, Adam and Eve fall and they're banished from the garden. And they're sent away, and their relationship with God is broken. Now, from this point onwards, everything falls below that neutral starting point. So our point for being happy is to be in relationship with God and to be in his presence. If we're anything short of that, then we're unhappy. So throughout the story of the Bible, from this point, there are peaks and troughs, but we carry on through the whole Old Testament, but we're always below that neutral starting point. Then we come to Jesus, which is where we have our hope. All right, and when Jesus dies on the cross, just think about what we actually see when Jesus is on the cross. We see our only hope, who comes into the world, and he's murdered. In that moment, forget about everything else. In that moment, he is murdered and he's dead. That is the lowest point in the Bible story. That is our hopelessness moment. If we forget that anything past that actually happened, if we end the story there, then all is lost and there's no hope for anyone. But we know that that's not the end of the story, because we have the turning point, we have the thing that surprises you at the end, the resolution where Jesus appears from the tomb, comes back, and the curve goes shooting up, because at this point we are able to have a relationship with God. Okay, but that's not where the Bible ends either. The Bible says that Jesus coming back from the dead is just the starting point. That's the first clues, the first fruits. Okay, so God says that everyone who trusts in Jesus Christ as Lord will spend eternity with him in Jesus' kingdom. And God describes this kingdom in his word as a paradise. So in the book of Revelation, we have this beautiful garden city. So we've got this garden right at the beginning of the story where our neutral line is, but then we've also got this garden where we pass the neutral line, and we get to the point that is better than where we were in the first place. And all films follow that structure. If they're going to have a positive outcome at the end, it needs to have a better finishing point than the beginning, and that's what we're expecting, because that is in our nature. It's in our blueprint to expect that the beginning was okay, but the end will be so much better. So whenever we see an ending in our film watching and it makes us happy and it picks us up and it's a positive ending and it's better than what it was at the beginning, that is just a reflection of Jesus coming back as King, establishing his kingdom and inviting everyone to take their place in it. So hopefully, now that I've explained you through why we might enjoy those endings quite so much, then you'll be able to see Jesus' victory through the eyes of the films that we're watching. So enjoy your films this week, enjoy your TV watching, and I will see you another week. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.